It's official. The missing 12 figures from Smith Lord Creations, or the Fans Strike Back, have officially been cancelled and there will be no refunds. Now, while that is not necessarily groundbreaking news, what is groundbreaking is the fact that the reason the figures are cancelled and there will be no refunds is because it's my fault. Let me repeat, you will not get a refund for those missing 12 figures that will never materialise because of me. Let me explain. I just woke up today and there's a new update from Chris Cran at the Fans Strike Back telling us that the figures are officially cancelled and you will not see a penny of your money back. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole statement. I'm going to focus on what pertains to me personally. You can, at your leisure, look up this statement on their website. But it basically says, so what is happening with the 13-figure set? And they have said, sadly, we have to announce the 13-figure set is no longer a reality. Let's go over how and why we ended up here. And it's just a load of waffle about factories in China, blaming COVID, etc. Now, we have to bear in mind that other independent makers continued to design and release figures during the COVID epidemic. Their Chinese factories also sustained issues, but that did not impact on us, the customer. They continued to make great product during these times. So none of this is of any relevance to why we're not getting the figures, because it's just more and more lies. So they also do make mention of the fact that the slave layer they put out was absolutely horrendous, and they are again putting that on the factory, saying it was not the figure they approved, which may or may not be the case, but at the end of the day, they still sent out those subpar figures to the customers, so they should expect all the blowback they get on that topic. Now, I'm going to skip to the part that relates to why it's my fault, as well as some other big YouTube names, why it's also their fault this whole thing has turned out the way it has. So the first channel to get attacked in this statement is Analog Toys, whereby Tony did a video on this very subject and sort of suggested that people file a complaint in the state of Pennsylvania, which is where the Fans Strike Back is located. And apparently that incurred some legal costs on their end. It says here the complaints were investigated by the state and the matter was adjudicated finding no wrongdoing, which is absolute nonsense. There was a lot of wrongdoing on the part of the Fans Strike Back. Now, this is where I want to get into this, and I will read out this paragraph because this is frankly quite offensive. So here we go. Other similar videos followed from Retro, 88 and Obsessed, so clearly retro blasting all things 80s, and I believe the other channel is Star Wars Obsessed, making absurd, fact-free and unfounded claims about our business, the production process and me personally, all while not even one had any contact ahead of time to ask any questions or seek information from our business for clarity. Absolute lies. As you will see on screen right now, prior to doing my video, I did have a pretty in-depth text chat with Chris Cran, and in the end, he basically said the joke's on me and ended all further communication, hence the reason I did my video. Now, he says here, this evidently didn't matter to anyone. When they had missing or incorrect information or holes in their story, they just flat made shit up. Nothing in my video was made up. I even had the receipts to prove so. In a mad rush to end our business and force us out of the hobby, their words, not ours, all their campaigns did was hurt customers of the 13 and the community itself, the very people they claim to be protecting by their actions. They tried to force refunds, but in the end, they ended up eliminating the possibility of partial refunds or any chance of completing the 13 from another factory, ruining the 13 for everyone. So there you have it. This is my fault. Now, he then addresses the topic of people asking for refunds. Great question, but they ruined that possibility too. As soon as Stanley Stupid Creations began selling the Fan Strike Back Smith Lord Creations products in late 2019, in violation of the business contract we signed, we began telling anyone and everyone, be careful who you buy from. Those are our items being sold without our permission. Integrity matters. Integrity matters. The irony of it all. I was basically told to sit down and shut up. No one listened or cared. Hundreds of thousands of dollars was lost to a competitor. We would have had the funding to eat and cover those factory mistakes, or finish the 13 in another factory, or issue refunds, but we don't. So again, this is all the fault of people on YouTube simply sharing the information they had about this very unscrupulous business. And this does make me laugh, and it says here, actions have consequences. So ask those YouTube channels who produced, and in bold, monetized, premeditated attack videos where your refunds are or the 13 set is. Or ask CFCB, who tried to profit off you by trying to sell you low-grade, 3D printed 13 set knockoffs. Whilst they are not as high a standard as injection molded figures, they are pretty good, and they do represent a reasonable placeholder for these figures. So that's, again, ironic that he's criticizing certain YouTube channels for attacking him. He's now attacking someone who really has no skin in this game. So yes, there's more waffle here. Again, feel free to read the entire thing at your leisure. It's just absolute load of old cobblers. And he then addresses the fact that they will be selling things again. So someone asks, when will I be able to buy more, such as figures, weapons, coins, stickers, bags, foams, backdrops, etc.? They say, while we have no figures in stock currently, we do have weapons, coins, stickers, and everything else mentioned above. We hope to reopen the website store and relaunch our Etsy page shortly. So, having done a runner for the past 12 months or so, he's back, and he's still trying to scam you out of money. You don't need me to say this, but please don't send another penny in this guy's direction. He has stolen from all of us. I'm out circa $300 for the figures that were initially promised in early 2020. So we've passed that mark by over 4 years now. And the fact that he has the balls to sit there and type a message saying it's our fault, and by our, me, Retro Blasting Analog Toys, Star Wars obsessed, is just quite frankly disgusting. All we did was share the information we had. And again, as I showed on screen, I did reach out for clarification before making my video, and I was basically blocked with no further avenues for communication. So there it is. It's now official. I mean, we knew that anyway because it's been over 4 years, but it's official now. There will be no missing 12 figures, and there will be no refunds.